When you consume media, you're bound to run into two kinds of things. You'll either run into the most peak thing that has ever graced this planet, changing the way you think about life itself, or you run into actual poop. However, even if you know it's bad, sometimes you just can't help but love it, for whatever reason. And that, my friends, is what a guilty pleasure is. What did you think of my little YouTube essay intro? Wasn't it so tough?
Shut the fuck up, nigga!
Guilty pleasures is pretty much something that everyone with a personality has. Though I'm sure that we all have different views of what makes something good or bad, but there is a popular consensus for these things, though I would still like to share some of mine, like my first one. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard about Cars 2 before, and everyone knows its reputation as a bad movie. Mater is the main character, and him being the comic relief in the first movie doesn't really make him fit for the role. Also, making it a spy thriller for like absolutely no reason. They made a spy movie with race cars instead of, race cars racing. But I can't lie, maybe it's because I'm looking at this movie through rose-tinted glasses, but I actually really like this movie. The Grand Prix around the world is like such a really cool idea for a sequel. Not only can it expand the whole world of cars, it can actually provide some interesting things for Lightning McQueen. Too bad they didn't actually do anything with it. But I can't lie, I just have such good nostalgia for this movie. I mean, like, it has such bangers like Finn McMissile and Francesco. I mean, who doesn't love Francesco? And the soundtrack, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on the soundtrack. It's genuinely just one of the most peak things to ever grace your ears. Though I probably won't enjoy it too much if I go to rewatch it now because I vastly prefer the first one. Cars 2 is definitely something I hold in a special place in my heart.
I'm taking it.
I've spoken about Sonic.exe in my creepypasta briefly, and for the most part it really was just the original creepypasta. And I will forever hold the opinion I held to this day. That original creepypasta is buns, and that original creator is a pedo. However, just because the original creator isn't part of Sonic.exe anymore, that doesn't mean that Sonic.exe himself doesn't thrive nowadays. Sonic.exe has actually never really been in a better place more than he is now, because of how many creative people there are now in the communities. Honestly, it just makes the original story a lot more obsolete by comparison, because of how good these things are. I mean, you have the reboot 2011X, then you have Rewrite, then you have things like Outcome Memories and PC Port and EYX. There's so many cool things that this community has done that basically turn this creepypasta that genuinely just, why does this exist, into, I'm kind of glad this exists. I'm very glad that there's this great community behind it because of how awesome these things are. Besides Sark. Sark is weird. Now, I know this one might seem a little strange for me to put on this list, but hear me out. I really don't need to explain what the digital circus is because I'm pretty sure everyone knows it, but I will say it's not brain rot because I do know that there are people who still think it is. And while I like the show and I've been keeping up with it ever since it released, the dialogue sometimes can be a little...
If I didn't fight back, that means I secretly care about you? I'm just a misunderstood little chicken fetus in an egg that needs to be cracked open. Well, I am not. End of story. You are my playthings, and I get joy out of making you suffer. I'm the one who causes pain for fun.
Now, personally, I really don't notice this dialogue often, though maybe I just have the cognitive senses of a 6-year-old at this point, but because I don't really notice it, I don't really find too much of a problem with it. Maybe besides maybe a couple of lines, but I honestly don't think it's too big of an issue. I mean, sure, they might be a little cringy, but at the end of the day, the story is still good, so I'm not really gonna complain too hard about it. And plus, there is still some pretty good dialogue in the series itself, so I'm not really gonna be too nitpicky on the ones that really aren't. Now, Source filmmaker animations are honestly something that exists. I remember watching them all the time as a kid, and I bet you're thinking that Source filmmaker animations aren't even that bad. And yeah, you're right, some of them are really cool, and a lot of them are just pretty neat in general. A lot of them are just things that we either hold in our place because they're funny, they're pretty cool, or a variety of reasons. But the ones I'm talking about are those older ones. specifically those old FNAF and Splatoon animations. They're pretty outdated by today's standards, but there is some sort of charm to them when you watch them. Though I'm sure some were just genuinely insane. My girlfriend said that once her and her best friend were watching the old FNAF Source Filmmaker videos as kids. At one time they saw Chica's pepperonis, let's just say. You know, I'm not too sure if we should bring back the Source Filmmaker actually. And that's my list of guilty pleasures. Let me know if you have any guilty pleasures of your own in the comments below. I'll see you later. Goodbye.